Honestly, man, huge missed opportunity for there not to be a synergy between these three champs. One extremely important note. This entire video is a review on Gore with zero synergies. Gore on his own, his base kit, what he does without any help. If you want to see something fun like this, well, I suggest that maybe you go and check out the Sensational Synergies video for Gore that may or may not be posted right now. Reminder, this video, Gore on his own, no synergies. Sensational Synergy video, Gore, well, with a couple sensational synergies. Let's jump into this one now. Alright, what is going on, my dudes? Today we are going to be talking about the newest champion to enter MCOC, Gore. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you might know I'm an absolutely enormous Thor fan, that Gore is my favorite character in the comics. So obviously I am a little bit biased towards the character, right? I obviously have very large expectations for the champion, but let's go over what he does, what he can do, what he's going to be good for, and I'm going to be showing you all of this stuff. Don't even worry. But before we jump into it, as always, I am going to tell you everything that you need to know instead of making you read it. So, Gore is entering the contest as the first champion fully immune to heal block 100% of the time. Now, that sounds really nice, but at the same time, it comes with a pretty big drawback, and that's that Gore is also the first champion to not benefit from willpower, which is one of the most powerful masteries in the entire game. And if you aren't running all 3 points of willpower, I do recommend you try to get that done as soon as you possibly can. So instead of actually gaining the benefits of willpower, he gains 3 vicious buffs, 1 for each point that you have in, increasing the damage of his damage over time effects, which he definitely needs. Now, Gore works by stacking these shadow magic buffs with light ending combos. And when he has those buffs, he inflicts matching debuffs of the same kind with medium ending combos. So Gore plays his bleed with the Viscera magic, poison with the Venom magic, and shock with the Volt magic. Now these can stack very, very highly, right? You could stack like 12 of each of these. And that's essentially like the bread and butter of Gore's kit. He also gains a regen buff whenever he's afflicted by the same debuff and buff combos. You also get a regen buff when you get hit. Now, in my opinion, that base kit regen, it doesn't really come close to making up for the lack of willpower. And I actually do think that mechanic really, really drops value by a lot, to me at least. So for special attacks, all of those buffs we were just talking about, they are paused during both champions' special attacks, which is definitely really, really nice. Now, his special 2 stacks fury buffs, 1 plus the amount of unique debuffs on the defender, so up to 4 buffs at one time. And yes, these buffs can stack higher than 4. I would say 8 is about like kind of pushing it already, but depending on the right synergies, you can actually get a little bit higher than that if you really try. But for any ordinary matchup, I do think that sticking with 4 is usually the way to go. Now, these fury buffs are refreshed when you use any special attack, special 1, special 2, or special 3. So, in my opinion, the best rotation for Gore is as follows, and that is going to be, I really wish he looked like that, by the way, light ending combos to build 6 buffs, 2 of each, medium ending combos to place 6 debuffs, okay? So you're gonna have 6 buffs, do 1 medium ending combo, you're gonna get 6 debuffs, okay? You're gonna use your special 2, you're gonna gain 4 fury buffs. Now you're gonna be doing your medium ending combos to keep placing more debuffs while cycling special 1 to refresh those fury buffs and also pause the shadow magic buffs for a few seconds, okay? After that, you can mix in some light ending combos there if anything falls off, right? And then the heavy attack on Gore shoots you up to 3 bars of power if you use a heavy attack when there are 20 or more buffs, get you right to max power. That's definitely very, very powerful, and that leads you to the special 3, which essentially activates all of his buffs. You gain 1 of each. You pause all magic buffs for 11 seconds, and you gain a nice amount of damage per each damaging debuff on the defender. He also has a mechanic called Heresy that increase the duration of his debuffs, essentially, and also the regen buff that you get, but it's very, very rare, and I doubt you'll see it, like, too often. You gain Heresy when you defeat a god or elder, but Gorr isn't the best matchup for most of these champions, and the tag is quite small. It's mostly, like, the Asgardian champions, and, like, Hercules and Null and the champion. But one more really nice thing he gets from his Sig ability is that he gets the Undermine every single time he switches his buff. So every single time you do a light ending combo at max Sig for 9 seconds, you grant unblockable to any hit that the opponent auto blocks. So that's really great for Penny Parker, Omega Sentinel, Sam Wilson, right? All of those annoying tech champions who auto block your stuff. But that's pretty much everything you need to know about Gorr. Let's jump into some gameplay now. So, like I said, the standard rotation is going to be your light ending combos, right? A bunch of times, at least 5 times here, okay? And then once we do that, we are going to be going for our medium ending combo into the special 2. So, as you can see, we're stacking up our buffs. That yellow buff is the vicious buffs from the willpower mastery, and the purple buff is the undermine buff that will protect us from any auto blocks as long as we keep switching our shadow buffs there. Okay, so we're going to go for the last light ending combo, and now we're going to go for a medium ending combo here into the special 2, 6 debuffs, 4 fury buffs. Okay, everything is paused here, or at least the shadow magic is paused during the special attacks, and at this point we're going to go for I went for a light ending combo to get another shadow magic buff into a medium ending combo. I now have 4 of each. Special 1 is going to pause for, I believe it's 6 seconds here, and there's an additional pause while the defender uses a special attack. I'm going to be stacking up now at this point all of the debuffs, right? So I have 17, right? We're going to go for another special 1. I'm cycling those special 1s here at this point with the 4 fury buffs, right? We have 2 of each shadow buff, which is right where we want to be, man. That's really, really nice, okay? And now at this point, 1 more medium ending combo into a special 1. We're getting ready to go for the heavy attack. Now, the heavy attack nuke, okay? Here comes the special 1 of Winter Soldier. Gonna go for 1 more medium ending combo. 7, 14, 20 debuffs exactly. So medium, medium. We have a lot of them now. Watch how fast this goes up, all the way up to a special 3, right? We're gonna go for the special 3. Let's watch it together. All right, full animation, definitely a decent amount of damage there, no doubt about it. 116k, and now we still have our 4 fury buffs, and all of that damage over time is ticking very nicely. And as you can see, the damage definitely starts to build up nicely at this point. Not too bad. That was about 550,000 health in about 2 minutes. The hit count is a little bit inflated because the special 1, special 2 has so many hits, so yeah, don't really worry about that. But if you want to see the 8 fury rotation, I'm sure people are going to be commenting about that, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm not worrying about his power bar. It's Winter Soldier. He's very stingy with the special attacks. Obviously, you're going to want to bait out specials. It's going to be fine. All of your shadow magic buffs are paused anyway. So what you want to do is essentially throw the special 2 just under 3 bars of power. That way you can build back up to another special 2. And remember, all special attacks are going to refresh the fury buffs, and now we can stack 8, okay? However, I do find a pretty large drawback with doing this, and what that essentially does is let all of your shadow magic buffs fall off. So now what you have to do is build those back up with light ending combos, ideally, right? Or just deal with the medium ending combos doing less debuffs, which is not really where you want to be. Personally, I would rather have 4 fury buffs and have the solid 6 shadow magic buffs there ready to go, because as you can see, there was 1 debuff on Winter Soldier, so now building up to 20 debuffs is going to be kind of like an uphill battle. So I definitely would not recommend going for that unless you're running like 4 cosmic synergies. That's going to be really increasing the length of these buffs. But as you can see, even just the damage over time, man, like it builds up with the 8 Fury, so you can kind of go about it in 2 ways. Both of these kills were pretty much identical in length. They were both about 2 minutes long. So the first one was like build up debuffs, go for special 3 nuke. This one was like build up the Fury buffs, be really, really aggressive, and just let the damage over time do its thing. But let's see how he does against our Deadpool here with a much lower health pool. This is about 150,000 health, right? So for like a side quest or cav event quest, stuff like that, let's see how he's going to fare for this type of content. Also, Battlegrounds kind of health pool, right? 150k, give or take. So yeah, also Deadpool's got a little bit of regen going on. If you run the Despair Master, you're going to be able to cut that out, but I don't believe I have it on in this clip. But yeah, we're doing the same thing here. We're going for our 6 buffs, and now we're going for our special 2 to gain our 4 Fury buffs. And now at this point, we got to stack up those debuffs if he throws his special attack. Come on, Deadpool. We're going for a medium combo. He's being very stingy with us. There we go. So Gore is definitely at the mercy of the RNG, of the AI, if he wants to throw the special attack or not. But yeah, as you can see, we're not even bothering with the special 3 here. We could have went for it right here, 20, but we just let the damage over time do its thing. So if you keep the shadow buffs up, right, you're gonna go ahead and be able to really stack those damage over time. Now we got a little bit of a utility showcase here. Up first, we got the heal block going on, right? The heal block immunity is definitely very nice. It's gonna be great for fighting like Penny Parker and other champions like that who won't be able to block your healing. Of course, again, there's no willpower or anything, but yeah, as you can see right there, immune underneath the dexterity. That's the heal block debuff, gonna be just immune there. When it comes to like the undermine debuff or the undermine buff on the Sig ability, is definitely nice for countering champions like Penny specifically, who's going to just auto block the heck out of you, right? So what we're going to do here is just ignore that, and we're going to go actually unblockable. You see, well, you see the unblockable? Every time she would auto block us, we pretty much go unblockable and just ignore that auto block. Definitely very, very nice. So he has a lot of debuffs, right? He has a lot of buffs, a lot of debuffs. Makes him good for 2 things, right? It's going to be good for buffed up, which I don't show here, but I mean, like, listen, if you run willpower, he always has 3 buffs no matter what. So that's definitely huge for buffed up, really solid for that. You cannot go wrong there. And over here, disc track, right? We're just building up. This is a 6.4.4, the Captain Marvel one, but as you can see, yeah, really solid stuff. Very easy to get 3 debuffs on this guy. One thing I forgot to mention is that if you're fighting a champion who's immune to one of his debuffs, you are going to put a matching degeneration, and that's going to be increased by, I believe, 500% against tech champions. That's why the degen is definitely doing some decent damage right now against this Sentinel, right? So yeah, not too bad right there. And of course, we're very close to that threshold where we can go for the heavy attack into the special 3 nuke. Nice, nice, nice. Of course, one of his debuffs is shock. So what does that mean? We have Thunderstruck. You guys know I love the note Thunderstruck. I think it's very, very fun, right? And of course, very easy to keep that shock on the entire time. And all you do from here is just play your typical rotation. And of course, one more, we have Acid Wash. Let's see how easy it is to get the poison, and done. That's it. So obviously, Thunderstruck, Acid Wash, he's very solid for that. He can unlock the damage there. He can unlock the damage on buffed up. He can unlock the damage on disc track. He has a lot of like interesting utility, man, where he's like able to do a bunch of things where like I really would not choose this guy over other champions for the majority of those things that I just showed you. But he can do a lot of stuff, which is very interesting. I feel like his damage is very much so on the lower side. And it feels like his utility isn't like game changer for me too. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But one thing though, man, I feel like Daredevil Hell's Kitchen may have been knocked off his throne as the most unsuicide friendly champion in the game. Because just, you know, people who love to run suicides, they don't love Daredevil because he only heals like what, 40-50%? Well, Gore heals none of it, basically, from the debuffs. However, he does cycle through his buffs, right? And like I said, when he gains one of his shadow buffs that match the poison, he's going to gain 15%, I believe it is, or 16% of his missing health. Now, when you're cycling special 1 and you get deep into the fight like that, you're going to be taking a lot of recoil damage, man. Now, once you drop down to like 25-30%, yeah, you're gonna start to be seeing some like actual like regen from running the suicide masteries. And he does have a synergy that actually decreases the poison healing resistance by 50%, which is like good, I guess. But yeah, I really cannot sit here and say like, yeah, you should run suicides with this guy because he gains a regen buff whenever you cycle through one of his buffs. It's just not it. I mean, we have like no health leaving this fight, so you're not going to be like running suicides with this guy. You're just not. I would not recommend it. And yeah, as you can see, going into the next fight, with Gore, we're going to start by just taking a bunch of damage. You know, we do have that little regen buff going, but at the same time, we have the constant tick of the poison, and we also have double edge as well, the bleed. So yeah, I don't think it's, but as you can see, he's stabilizing a little bit around like 35%, but then once you start getting into the rhythm of like spamming special 1 and all that good stuff, you drop down even lower. So at most, you can get off probably like 3 fights with this guy running suicides. So I would not recommend running that mastery setup with him. So Gore, he's an interesting one. Personally, I feel like this guy, he has a bunch of small issues that are really hindering his viability in high pressure content right now. He's very AI reliant, and all of his durations feel a little bit too short to me. He feels like a champion who actually has potential. They started that thing with Scorpion the Black Cat. Haven't heard much about that, where like after 6 months, champions might be evaluated, they might get buffed, they might get nerfed. I really do not think we're going to be seeing any nerfs. I don't think any champion is breaking the mold since that happened. I also don't think any champion has really needed a tune-up since it happened. I think we've seen 6 solid champions, you know, ever since that happened. Like really solid, like really good and balanced and nice. I do think that Gore could use a bit of love. I feel like, you know, something as simple as just making all of his buffs refresh on special 1, including his shadow buffs, would really take away a lot of the pressure playing him and take away a lot of the AI reliance. Also, if all of his debuffs were paused during special attacks as well, not just buffs, I think that would go a long way in making him less stressful to play. I do also feel like his damage could just be a little bit. I don't know, man. But yeah, so Gore, he could be fun for certain things for sure. But let me know in the comment section below what you think of him. It showed you a lot of his utility, most of his utility, right? Pretty much showed you a few different rotations for this guy and like medium to longer fights, also shorter fights like the Deadpool. I'm curious, watching this, what you think of Gore. Do you think he's going to be breaking the mold? Do you think he's going to be forgotten about? I am curious to hear what you think, because, you know, when things line up and the AI lets you do your thing, that special 3 is pretty juicy, and the damage over time is pretty good. But if the AI gets passive, all your buffs fall off, and then all your debuffs fall off, and then you pretty much lose all your stuff. You kind of got to start over, and that's not the most fun thing to do. So I am curious to hear what you think about him, though, if you're interested or not. But let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, man, it's Gore. It's freaking Gore, dude. Christian Bale right there. That's it for this one. I think I'm making a sensational synergy video. Check out that one. Seeing you around.